Chris Hansen, you know him from To Catch a Predator. We had opportunity to talk to him yesterday.
Hopefully you don't know him too well from To Catch a Predator.
Hopefully you've never met him in person.
Otherwise, I got to be honest, switch your radio station.
There was a very, very popular show. It made its run. It had its day. Now he has a brand new show out, and we had an opportunity to talk to him yesterday after, so we're like, all right, yeah, we'll do it. We'll chit-chat with Chris, and then we'll record it. We'll play it back today. So, full disclosure, we talked to him yesterday, and we asked him all kinds of questions, but one of the questions were like, hey, this Jared guy from Subway, you've seen predators in the face, in the eyes. What's your take on him? What do you think? And he responds, and then last night, it comes out, Jared from Subway is planning on
accepting a plea deal.
Right. Saying, hey, look, I am totally guilty. He's supposed to come out saying he's guilty for having a relationship with a minor. So, ironically, we're like, damn it. Chris, what are you doing, man? Should have called earlier. Anyway, it was a good conversation. It was a fun time. And here's Chris Hansen talking about his brand new show coming on out. That's why we started. And then we go into Jared. Check it out.
The show is called Killer Instinct. It's on Investigation Discovery. And it's a 10-episode season where we take a look at some of the most fascinating crimes in the United States. What we call Nightmare on Imperial Avenue, where a fellow named Anthony Sewell, over a period of years, kidnapped after seducing women, sexually assaulting, and then killing 11 women in his home in Cleveland on the east side there. And this case goes on and on without police really knowing anything about it. And we found a woman who actually escaped Sewell, who gives me one of the most compelling victim interviews I have ever had in my 30-some-year career. I mean, this woman was lured into his house, assaulted, and he finally lets her go to the bathroom. And as she's walking up the stairs, she sees a headless body wrapped in blue.
Oh,
jeez.
I know if she's going to make it out of that house. She does. But because of her history as a drug user, her calls to police go, unanswered. And so this activity continues. In fact, it got so bad because he was burying the women on his property. There was a smell wafting through the neighborhood. There was a sausage factory, a small sausage factory nearby, and they kept writing them citations and making them clean up, different parts of the factory, thinking that's where the smell was coming from. And all the time, Sewell's victims on his property.
Well, obviously, you have a lot of experience dealing with this, I would say, low-life's scum of the earth, right? I mean, these from your days at To Catch a Predator all the way up till now, Killer Instinct. I wanted to get your take on Jared from Subway. What's your first go-around on that?
Well, I haven't reported on that case personally, so I'm a little hesitant to pass comment on it. I think obviously, the FBI had enough evidence to get a warrant to at least take a look at his computer equipment, and so there must have been something there to be able to get a federal warrant. I mean, they don't just hand those things out like candy.
Like, when the FBI kicks down your door, would you expect kind of a reaction? Something like, because my big thing with the Jared from Subway was, this dude has not said a single word. Like, he hasn't gone like, yo, I'm innocent. Well, it's not at all. I mean, even if you're guilty, you have to say you're innocent, right? Do something.
Well, I think it depends on his lawyers and what they're telling you. He probably said, say nothing and let the publicity pass and see what comes out of it. We'll take a look at the evidence as we get it in the discovery process.
Chris Hansen with To Catch a Predator and then Killer Instinct. I would think, like, if I had a party and all of a sudden somebody brought you unexpectedly, if I saw you at the front door, I'd be scared. I would think people have to have a certain, instant reaction to seeing you sometimes that maybe isn't positive all the time.
You should see what happens when the Jehovah's Witnesses come to the door. We finished that Kickstarter campaign recently, and we've got Hansen versus Predator going into production as well. So we're going to bring that back, and we've got all kinds of new technology and all kinds of new production methods. So I'm excited about that as well.
What would you say the number one character trait of a predator, a.k.a. a creeper, would be? Like, something that you can spot and be like, I bet you that guy stuffs women in his basement.
It's interesting because obviously throughout the Killer Instinct investigations and throughout Predator, we've come across guys who have, creep tattooed across their forehead. But more often than not, they don't stand out of a crowd, quite honestly. They look like the person who could be standing next to you at the dry cleaners on Saturday morning. It's what makes them tick. Well, a lot of different things, and that's what's so fascinating about getting into the mind of a predator or a killer or anything else, because if you can better understand how their minds work, you can better protect potential victims down the road.
Okay, so if a guy talks about penis all the time on the radio, chances are he's probably not a creeper.
I don't know about that.
Yes,
I get
Parks.
Sparks off the hook there.
Nah, come on, man. It's not like that.
Watching you.
As long as I don't want to hear you say, "Please have a seat." I mean, that would be the scariest thing.
But it was funny because when we were doing the Kickstarter campaign, we met with the folks out there in Brooklyn, and I'm standing there with my co-executive producer and two women executives there, and we're trying to be polite and let them sit down first, and the one executive sits down, and we're waiting for the other one to sit down, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and she finally says, "Mark, you going to say it?" I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Please have a seat over there."
Well, we can't wait to check out the show. Killer Instinct is the name of it. Chris Hansen. Make sure you check it out. It's on Investigation Discovery. Chris Hansen, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys. Always a treat.
Okay, so there you go. That was our conversation with Chris Hansen. Nice guy, funny. Crazy story about that serial killer.
Oh, my gosh.
In Cleveland.
But I think the real takeaway is Jared. Jared from Subway. He kind of said, you never know what these guys are. And Jared, his whole thing was never making a scene. I mean, before this,
You never heard nothing about
Jared was just the Subway guy. They never had any dirt on him
Well,
ever.
he got pulled over, I believe, here in Vegas on drunk driving one time, and he played the "Do you know who I am?" card.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right?
So but that was the only thing that
that
I
was the
never
only
heard
thing.
before that.
Well, if you're Jared from Subway, that's the card you got. You got to play that card, right?
Oh, I'd make sure I'd have cards for free Subway sandwiches.
You gotta pull out a footlong when you say it.
Just pull
Oh,
out.
unfortunately, that's what got him in
Say it.
trouble. Well, something tells me, I know exactly. Jared, a footlong.
The official Subway account on Facebook released a statement. We no longer have a relationship with Jared, and we have no further comment. That's all they put. But, on Facebook, you can also put, like, feeling excited, feeling nervous, little smiley face or whatever. In that section, it says, food chain, terminated relationship with Fogle. So I love how they had to update that part as well. Like they were in a relationship.
Well,
They should put, it's complicated after that.
That's tough. If you have a endorser, that's not like, a cartoon character or something, man,
Yeah.
you're really banking on that person being...
Yes.
And he was a nobody.
When it's a legitimate,
He was
when
just
it's
a
No,
fat-
he was a big fat
fat
somebody.
guy, right, who then lost a bunch of weight eating sandwiches.
And man,
Can you imagine if the Marlboro Man, something happened to him? The Marlboro Man?
Yeah, he died of lung
besides,
cancer.
right, except the 7 of them or 5 of them died.
yeah, 5 of them died of lung
Besides
cancer.
that, though, but that's okay.
Well, Jared from Subway is expected to later today to plead guilty to child pornography charges.
Even though the charges haven't even been filed yet. He's just seeing a sweet plea deal.
Is that going to involve jail time, you think?
Well, it better.
That's what I would
You
assume.
better not be
it
able
has
to plea out of child porn with no jail time.
Yeah. Especially when you had copious amounts, like his partner or whatever, the business manager, had tons. Just a weird story.
Yeah.
Weird story. And a lot of jokes will be coming out at Subway's expense. So we'll see what happens here probably later on today with Jared.
So now all the subways across the nation are now throwing away their Jared signage that they were told to hold on
Right,
to.
because originally they had to pull down, but they were supposed to keep them.
Did you see what some Subways did? Because some of those signs are part of the menu. Yeah. Like it has the list of sandwiches on it. So they drew like a smiley face and they put it over Jared's face. So there's a hand-drawn smiley face over Jared's head when he walked in.
Something tells me they're not going to have any real person spokesperson for a long time.
They should just do talking subs. Why not?
Well,
it already looks like a face.
What was that, Johnny? You'll know because I'm not sure it was everywhere, but with the talking rats.
That's a horrible idea.
What advertising firm would think that's a good idea?
I got it right here. You found it. You guys want to hear it?
Yes.
Here's the commercial Doug's talking about.
We love these songs! Cause they are good to us!
Are the rats singing?
Because no
They
songs!
have terrible teeth.
They are tasty, they are crunchy, they are warm because they toast them! They got a pepper bar!
Quiznos do Santa Fe Trio subs with smoky chipotle sauce. Fried chicken, roast beef, or smoked turkey.
They got a pepper bar. They got a pepper bar. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
I found it. I found it wonderful.
You hungry? You ready?
Oh, I'm ready to eat.
And I thought the KFC commercials were.